Okay, go ahead.
All set, Joe?
Yes, go ahead.
Great. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the March 27th, 2023 meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission. We will open this evening with the roll call. Ms. Hofstetter.
Here.
Mr. Kiokio. Is Bobby here?
Yeah, he was. There he is. He's under
I'm
me.
here. Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry, I'm here.
Okay. Mr. Sylvain.
Here.
Mr. Haas.
Here.
And Chairman Finaldi is here. Okay, good. We do not have to seat any alternates. We have a full vote. The first item on our agenda is the acceptance of the minutes. Commission members, the minutes of the February 1st and March 1st meetings were previously distributed. Unless there's any corrections or edits, I'll entertain a motion to accept both sets of minutes.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bob. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Both sets of minutes are approved. Let the record show that the next meeting of the Planning Commission is scheduled for April 19th, 2023. There is no meeting scheduled for April 5th due to Passover. Before we move to the first public hearing, I'll read the Zoom introduction and then, of course, the legal notice. This meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission is being held on Zoom as a virtual meeting. Even though this meeting is a virtual meeting, members of the public and interested parties continue to have the opportunity to participate in the meeting in a couple of different ways. You can participate via Zoom and see the audio and the video, or you can call in by phone and participate via audio only. Please be aware that we may have to mute your microphone or telephone to avoid an echo or some other background noise. Instructions on how to participate in the meeting appear on the City of Danbury website, and all of the document materials that apply to the matters to be discussed during this meeting, including the agenda, are also available on the City of Danbury website. As always, if you have any questions regarding how to participate in the meeting, please contact the City of Danbury Planning and Zoning Department. As a reminder, the entire meeting will be posted on and can be seen on the City of Danbury website. We will follow the posted agenda as per standard practice if prior to the meeting any questions or comments on agenda items were submitted via email to the Planning and Zoning Department. Those comments will be read during the appropriate portion of the meeting. Finally, please remember that technology glitches sometimes do occur. Please be patient if that happens. With that said, we will move to the first of two public hearings this evening. And I will now read the legal notice for the first one. Legal notice. Notice is hereby given that the Planning Commission of the City of Danbury will hold public hearings commencing at 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, March 5th. Let's change that to
Well, yeah, you can just put the dates it was published and everything because we didn't have to re-advertise, even though we didn't make that meeting.
got it. Well, let the record show it is actually Monday, the 27th of March, in a web-based meeting hosted on Zoom to consider the following matters. Bright Raven IS Danbury LLC property owner application for special exception revised site plan for wireless communication facility, section 3E6B2 on existing rooftop with existing antennas by others. Dish Wireless LLC installation rooftop in the CA80 zone, 18 Old Ridgeberry Road, C15008, special exception number 79. Copies of these applications are on file in the Planning and Zoning Office for public inspection. Parties in interest and citizens shall have an opportunity to be heard at this time. Agenda to be posted will include instructions on how to access the Zoom meeting and application materials and view this meeting in real time on YouTube. Arnold D. Finaldi, Jr., Chairman, posted on City website and Town Clerk's Office on February 28th, 2023. Published in News Times on March 3rd and March 10th, 2023, purchase order number 2022-174. Commission members, several documents that apply to this application, including a site plan, special exception applications, maps and plans, and combined departmental reports were previously distributed. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Please Again, state your name and affiliation.
Yep, Teresa Ranciato Vili, and I'm here representing Dish Wireless. And sorry, I keep getting in these various phases. My camera's not working that well, so.
There you are.
So I'll present, or is that how you want to do it, or do you want to hear from people in the audience first?
Oh, no.
Okay.
The chronology is you'll do your presentation. We then ask if there's anyone else in favor. We ask for the opposition, and then we move on from there. So it's all your show right now.
Understood. Okay, well, it's fairly simple. I'm sure your board has heard a lot of these. So Dish Wireless, Dish is now in the wireless business. Just quickly, when Sprint and Nextel were allowed to merge, the FCC decided that there needed to be another carrier. So Dish was sort of slated with getting a bunch of sites on air as soon as they could. In a lot of cases, we're taking over where Sprint was, and some where Nextel was as well. So we are proposing to go on the existing building where there is existing telecom. We will not be increasing the height. I did speak to, let's see, Michael from the municipal airport, Michael Safranek. So Dish's antennas will not be any higher than what's existing right now on the rooftop. The bulkhead of the roof there's a 98-foot 4-inch, and the top of the existing Yagi antenna is 103 foot 3 inches. So Dish will be down lower than any of that. I think that the top is 103 feet for the Dish. So if there's any questions, I'll take them. We will paint the antennas to match. And that's pretty much the presentation at this point.
Okay. Commission members, is there any questions for the applicant at this time?
Mr. Chairman,
Please, Mr. Kiokio.
so is this equipment going to replace what's there, or is it in addition and it's a different service than what's currently there?
It's going to take the place of Sprint antenna. So they're not going to be in the same exact place that Sprint were on the rooftop, but we are going to be up there and Sprint is coming down. But Dish has its own brand, so people would subscribe to Dish.
So the existing Sprint equipment will be removed, is that what you're saying?
It will, and actually we will, meaning Dish will be using the existing metal platform that's on the rooftop now. So we won't be putting a metal platform there. So there will be 2 cabinets. You know, a while ago, the telecom got away from all of the big 20 or 12 by 20 buildings. So right now the equipment will be in 2 cabinets on the existing metal platform.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kiokio. Any other questions for, I believe it's Ms. Ranciato. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name.
No, that's perfect.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Anyone in opposition?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Rotello, how you doing?
good. How are you? Good
Good.
evening, everybody. Through the chair to the petitioner, we don't have any maps or any paperwork or presentations or shared screen in front of us. So I just have a question again through the chair about the transmission pattern, the energy pattern. There's a condominium complex due east. There's a highway, obviously. The Crown Plaza is adjacent to a highway, but there's a condominium complex due east, and there's a lot of single-family residences north and west. And generally, when you guys do transmission towers, you basically beam the energy directly above them. So my query is, how is the directed energy going? Is it going through those units, above them, not up to them, straight up? If you could just clear that up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Rotello. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll call the rest of the, actually, no. Yeah, let me call the rest of the opposition. If there's none, I'll have the applicant respond to your question.
Thank you.
Is anyone else wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Anyone else in opposition? Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Ms. Franciato, did you want to respond to the question? Did you hear the question from the Mr. Rotello? Or would you respond to it, please?
I did hear the question, and I'm looking at my prints right now. So let's see if I can answer that. There is one antenna that is going directly toward the on-ramp. So I'm sure you know the town better than I do. So that's going to the on-ramp. The second and third are on the complete opposite side of the building, shooting out. So those are the beta and the alpha sectors, and they're shooting out diagonally. So it's going toward the existing parking lot. And the other one is directly opposite. So it looks like it's shooting out sort of in the direction of Old Ridgeberry Road. I mean, normally our intent is always to cover, obviously, the big roads. We don't normally want to shoot out any further. You know, we do always follow the Telecommunications Act as far as the RF emissions. If you know, we're not asked to give the RF report at this time. But we always are within the guidelines.
Thank you, Ms. Franciato, for that response. Jen or Ally, are we waiting for anything else, any other departments? I know that the airport administrator is okay. Is there anything else on this one we're waiting for?
No, there's nothing else. And we have no comments additionally. So if you guys do want to close, you can.
Okay, good. And again, just to clear, for the most part, these antennas are replacing existing antennas.
Yes,
That's
they are.
Okay. And these are the ones I see when I'm going down the ramp and looking over at the old hotel. All those antennas, those are the ones we're talking about.
You are. They're panel antennas. They're approximately 3.5, 4 feet high. And Dish is only placing 3 of them. A lot of, you know, some of the larger groups like Verizon, in other words, sometimes puts in 9 or 12. Dish has 3.
Yeah, you don't, I mean, I know there's a lot of antennas up there. You don't know how many there are in total right now, do you? It doesn't.
Let me see. I might be able to tell you that. And count yourself lucky, because I sit on my own zoning board in North Haven, and our meeting is next Monday night, Final 4.
Oh.
We're all trying to get out of it.
Well, UConn plays next Saturday night, so.
Right, but if we go to
Oh.
Monday, if they're in the finals, that's it, right?
Absolutely right. I like the way
Right.
you're.
That's right. That's how I'm thinking. Okay, so there are Verizon antennas up there, AT&T is up there, T-Mobile is up there, and Sprint is coming down, so Dish will be up there. So you have 3 carriers, and now there'll be, if you allow Dish, there'll be 4. I mean, and as you know, most towns and as far as the carriers are concerned, too, we like to use an existing building that already has carriers, so we're not adding more to the visual environment.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Jen or Ally, I mean, unless I'm missing something, this is a pretty straightforward application. It's taking some antennas down, putting other ones up. It's a location that already has many antennas. We're not waiting for any reports from any departments. I mean, we could probably, if the commission is so inclined, we could probably close this. Is that fair, Jen?
Yes, that's correct.
Commission members, anything else for the applicant or any other questions? And if not, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to close this public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Kyoko. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
I missed-
Can I just ask a question? When do you vote?
Well, we'll need a resolution, right, Jen?
No, I mean,
Mr.
at the end
Chairman.
of this meeting though, or is it later?
No, here's
No.
what we typically do. Well, this is what I think is gonna happen. I don't know. We'll close the public hearing. We will then move this matter to old business for discussion and possible action, and we will give guidance to the staff members from the Planning and Zoning Department that are on this meeting, Jennifer and Ally. Assuming the discussion is positive, they will draft a resolution and we can vote on it at our next meeting, which is April, whatever it was.
19th,
19th.
19th.
Did I get that right, Jen?
Yes, you did, Mr. Chairman.
Good, good.
Understood, thanks. I just have to report back into Dish, so thank you so much.
Okay, there has been a motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
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 This public hearing is closed. I'll entertain a motion to move this matter to item 1 under old business.
Second. I'll make that motion and move it to old business.
Thank you, Helen. Is there a second?
Second,
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to move the matter of Bright Raven IS to item 1 under our old business agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. This item is now item 1 under old business for discussion and possible action. And with that, we will move right into our second public hearing this evening. Blackman Enterprises LLC, property owner, NSK Petroleum Wholesale Inc., prospective purchaser, application for special exception revised site plan approval for automobile service station and convenience market, section 3E9 and 5A2B, and trip generation in excess of 500 vehicle trips per day, section 3F2, 3E2 make that. In the CG20 zone, 32 Germantown Road, J11362, special exception number 791. Let me find the public, it's not the public hearing, let me find the legal notice, if you'll bear with me for a second. Here we go. Legal notice. Notice is hereby given that the Planning Commission of the City of Danbury will hold public hearings commencing at 7:30 p.m. on March 15th, 2023, in a web-based meeting hosted on Zoom to consider the following matter. Blackman Enterprises LLC, property owner, NSK Petroleum Wholesale Inc., prospective purchaser. Application for special exception, revised site plan approval for automobile service station and convenience market, section 3E9 and 5A2B. In trip generation in excess of 500 vehicle trips per day, section 3E2 in the CG20 zone, 32 Germantown Road, J11362, special exception number 791. Copies of these applications are on file in the Planning and Zoning Office for public inspection. Parties and interest and citizens shall have an opportunity to be heard at this time. Agenda to be posted will include instructions on how to access the Zoom meeting and application materials and view the meeting in real time on YouTube. Arnold E. Finaldi Jr., Chairman, posted on city website and town clerk's office on February 28, 2023. Published in the News Times on March 3rd, 2023 and March 10th, 2023, purchase order 2022-174. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application? Attorney Beecher.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. For the record, my name is Tom Beecher of the Collins Hannafin Law Firm, and I represent NSK Petroleum Wholesale Inc., which is the prospective purchaser of this property at 32 Germantown Road. With me here this evening are Diana Verbikis, our project engineer, Abigail Adams, our landscape architect, and Joe Balskis, our traffic engineer. This subject property is owned currently by Blackman Enterprises LLC. The property is 0.6 of an acre and it's located in the CG20 commercial zone. We're seeking approvals to operate an automobile service station and convenience market, and for approval of a trip generator. The property was used as a gas station and full automobile repair facility until fairly recently when it was converted to just an automobile repair center. The gas pump canopy is still in place, but the gas pumps and the underground gas storage tanks were removed when Mr. Blackman, who owns the property, decided to just operate an automobile repair business known as Blackman's Auto Repair. The existing building and gas station were built in 1972. It was originally an Atlantic Ridgefield gas station, which I remember as ARCO. Then later it became a Sunoco station. This property is next door to the Germantown Fire Department, which is the abutting property to the north. And Jimmy's Market is 2 doors up to the north. The Germantown Plaza abuts this property on both the south boundary as well as the rear of this particular property. And there's an office building across the street. This project is not a tear down and rebuild. We're reusing the existing building, and we're not trying to be overly greedy or to overly develop this site in the process of our project. The existing garage will be converted into the convenience market, and there won't be any automobile repair services any longer. The existing building will undergo renovations for the conversion to the convenience market. Those will be interior renovations primarily. This building is 1,922 square feet, and the property is served by city water and sewer. If you compare the existing floor plan to the proposed floor plan and the rendering, you will see that there will be more windows. Windows are added and a double door has been added where the existing garage bay doors are located. And windows were also added on the front of the building and on the north or right side elevation next to the cashier's area. There are 2 ADA compliant bathrooms, which will be accessed internally down a short hallway that you reach by going along past the cashier's area. I've asked our architect to review the suggestions from the deputy planner in her report regarding the facade of the building. The proposed 8 fueling stations are the 2 sides of the 4 pump locations, which are the exact same locations as where the previous pumps were. And as required by the special exception regulation, the pumps must be at least 15 feet from the front or side boundary line. And as you can see on our site plan, these pumps are 19 feet from the front boundary and quite a bit further away from the side boundary. The proposed parking complies with the regulations. A sidewalk will be added along the front, which will connect to the existing sidewalk that runs along Germantown Road in front of the Germantown Plaza. There are a fair amount of existing trees and shrubs on this site, and Abigail has added to that and neatened it up a little bit, which she will review with you. With respect to the lights on the site, the existing building and the existing canopy both have lighting in soffits. We will reevaluate our site lighting in response to Jen's comment in her report, but I'm not sure we're going to be adding any lighting, but I will discuss this with Jen between now and the next meeting. We're not aware of any issues with certain uses or facilities being located within 500 feet of this site. We will be providing certification to that effect from our surveyor prior to the next meeting. Now, Joe Balskis will go through his traffic report, but I will tell you that this project, once built, will not have any significant negative impact on traffic or traffic operations and will not cause congestion in the streets. Most level of services that Joe will talk about and show you will be level of service Bs and no worse than a C. And as you all know, for a gas station and convenience store capacity analysis, The cars that will come into this facility are generally the cars that will go by this location anyway. And that's the pass-by traffic, meaning people generally don't make a special trip just to get gas or to buy a soda. And remember, this was an existing gas station not too long ago. The city traffic engineer suggested changing the northerly driveway to a 15-foot inbound only driveway. And we're fine with that, and we're going to adjust our plans accordingly. The fire marshal's report states that there's no issues with the project design. The city engineer had no suggestions for us. The building department had one question about the location of the handicap parking space, and Dinas will address that when it's his turn, which I think is right now. Dinas, why don't you run through the plans?
Good evening. For the record, Dinas Verbic is professional engineer with Artel Engineering Group, and also here on behalf of the applicant. Attorney Beecher has described and taken away most of the words that I had prepared to talk about, which is great. So I don't have to drone on. But we in looking at the design and designing of the site, we kept it simple. Curb cuts, we kept the same with the exception of bumping out and enlarging the existing grass or landscaped islands on the road edge of the property. We kept dispenser locations as they were located previously before being removed. Subsurface fuel storage tanks are being placed right back in the same location as where they previously were located. And site lighting will, as Attorney Beecher had noted, we do have existing lights in the soffits of the building, as well as 8 lights in the canopy itself. It's all down lighting. We went to the site at night just to see what things look like. So on the south side, we've got some fair illumination from the Hawley Plaza, which is located to the south and west of us. However, on the north side, the firehouse side, things were pretty dark. So we've asked our lighting consultant to look into specifying some lighting on the site so that we are fully illuminated for our customers. With respect to the building department comment, we had proposed the handicap parking space on the south side of the building, which is where the architect has proposed the main entrance to the building. So we thought it'd be a convenient spot for access. Building department had asked that we look to place the handicap parking on the north side of the building.
Dennis, I'm sorry, it's Arnie. If I could just interrupt for a second. Is it, well, as you're making that description, is there any way you can share your screen and put the site?
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the drawings on my desk and
We can't see your desk, Dinas. You see, that's the issue.
you don't want
Go
to see
ahead.
this desk.
Go ahead.
All righty, let me get in here. All righty, so I've got, all right, that popped up, yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Perfect. So we'll go straight from the cover sheet to the survey map. I'll make it a little larger. So this is the existing conditions survey map. And again, the building is located centrally to the western bound. So as far inbound as possible on the site, there's an existing canopy located directly to the east of the building. A couple of entry doors located on the east face of the building. And currently where the repair facility is located. We've got some overhead doors on the south side of the building itself. Currently, cars are parked all along the northern edge, along the north side of this North Island. And then there's additional vehicles parked along the southern property line and a whole host of vehicles parked underneath the canopy and in the vicinity of where the dispensers are located. I'm scrolling right into the site plan. Let me make this a little larger yet. How's that look? Good?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Terrific. So again, underneath the existing canopy are where the 4 dispensers will be located, providing 8 fueling positions. The architectural rendering proposed that we keep the 2 doors on the east facade in their current locations, with the main entry doors off to the south side of the building, so that we have full access to the building for those that need it. There are ramps rising up from this southeast corner of the proposed walkway around the building. There's a ramp that goes up and serves the doorway on the south, and then this also rises up along the facade of the building, providing access to either of the doors on the front face of the building. The underground storage tanks are located in this vicinity here. The building is served by municipal water and sewer. Stormwater runoff will continue to discharge as it currently does off of the roof of this building. We're not proposing to make any modifications to drainage patterns on the site, and this is the first time in, I don't know, 30 some odd years where we got a letter from the engineering department, first shot, saying no comments. Kind of great job. So, which is encouraging. We have a trash enclosure proposed on the north side of the building at the extreme west end of where things are currently paved. In fact, the trash enclosure is being placed on a currently impervious surface. So we're again making use of all the existing site improvements. And getting back to the initial point that I started speaking here was, or about the site itself, was the building department has requested that we perhaps tuck our handicap parking in this vicinity here on the northeast portion of the building, so that the ramping and access to these front doors would be short, and someone would not have to negotiate a parking area as they would have to with the handicap parking in this location. That's just a discussion that we need to make with the building department. I would say not a showstopper by any means, but a conversation that needs to be had. And I think at that point, I'm pretty much finished. Happy to answer any questions, or perhaps we should go on to Abigail and to Joe, and then we can answer questions as they come up.
Any questions for Dynas at this point? Anyone? I can't see your hand, so you'll have to shout out if you're on the commission. I guess not.
Okay. Would you like me to stop so that someone else can?
Please.
Yeah, Abigail's next.
Great. Good evening. For the record, Abigail Adams, registered landscape architect, owner A2 Land Consulting out of New Fairfield, Connecticut. I will share my screen super quick and go through. Relatively simple and straightforward landscape plan. I don't want to say simple, straightforward landscaping plan for you. Just to go over the larger trees first, we are proposing 8 canopy trees on site. We have 4 ginkgos that are lining the street, the islands here at the entrance and then here and here. These are the ginkgo sentry. They get about 15 feet wide or so, gorgeous yellow color in the fall. So that will be beautiful along the street. Interior to the site, we are proposing 2 of the green pillars. I did notice as I was reviewing the plan, I have one typo here where it said 2 QP, but there's only 1 here, but the count in the schedule is correct. And then at the back of the property, flanking the trash receptacle area, we have 2 large October Glory maples here. And then surrounding the enclosure, we have proposed the Steeds hollies, upright evergreen shrubs that get to about 10 feet tall, just to surround that area. And then throughout the site, we are proposing a mix of evergreen and deciduous shrubs. We have some ground cover and large ornamental grasses along the front here. We have a mix of, again, the Steeds holly here, the tall upright ginkgos, some lower junipers for a ground cover, tall ornamental grasses, and then some lower ornamental flowering spirea along the road. We're really trying to, because it's a very small site to landscape, we are trying to go for a lot of bang for the buck with various heights, colors, and seasonal interest, especially along the front of the property. Along the north and the south property lines, there is existing vegetation, a lot of it large evergreen shrubs that we are proposing to remain. No work is happening next to these parking areas or the curbs, so that will all stay as is, with a little bit of cleanup happening, especially along the south side with some vines and things that are in there. But overall, we just tried to plant up the islands and the perimeters, again, just to create evergreen seasonal interest throughout the site to spruce it up a bit. I think that's all I got.
Any questions for Abigail, commission members? None at this time.
Great.
Joe Balskis next.
Before we go to Joe, I just want to check one thing. Jen, I believe on the subject of traffic, where are we? Are we still waiting for something from Vera? Did we get a final report from him? Just where are we?
So we ended up, we had some preliminary discussions. Vera reached out to the project team, requested some sidewalk improvements. I met with Vera, Ally and I met with Vera separately. We'd expressed some of our concerns about the curb cuts, and Vera came back with some additional revisions, which we included in the packet with the commission. We're still waiting for his final analysis. I spoke to him this morning and he was going to be working on that, so you'd have it for the next meeting.
Great. So just commission members, we'll be keeping this public hearing open. I want to make sure we get that on the record.
Thank you.
Mr. Balskis, haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Joe Balskis, for the record, VHB, traffic engineer, licensed professional engineer, state of Connecticut. So yeah, just real quick, I'll share my screen real quick. Tom did go through a few things I had. Let me just show you my screen real quick. Can you see that? Can you see it? All right, so.
Joe, feel free to talk a little slower too.
I'm trying. I'm hungry. That's what it is. I haven't had dinner yet. So this is a map aerial showing the left side is 2016, the right side is 2022. So I can show you where it was back 6 years ago or 7 years ago, and you can see nothing really has changed here. There's some markings that'll change. The site hasn't changed. It's been two driveways all along, but I go back and I peel back and I show you what's happening. What was September last year. So just to give you a quick understanding of existing condition. I know you've all been out there. We've all been out there, but nothing really has changed at the intersection and the site itself, as you can see by me scrolling back and forth. What you do see is the pave markings have been, the city has gone out and installed a lot of arrows, new pave markings at the traffic signal itself, but the signal itself hasn't really changed. But the key point I was trying to make, though, is that regarding Vera's comment on the drive, this has been a full access drive, 2 driveways for a while, and gas stations like that, isn't it? And if they work, it's fine. So he wanted to make a little small change to the driveway by narrowing the driveway up a little bit. I think if I remember correctly, something like this here. He wanted to do that and then make us one way in, is what my understanding. So that's fine. And that does work. The firehouse is right here. We know that. Intersection's right here. Nothing wrong with that. Makes sense. So we have no issue with that at all. So all right. So that's just to address that. Let me stop sharing. So we prepared a traffic impact study. You have a copy of that. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. Tom kind of told you a lot about that. Our study area was the intersection, as you see there. The intersection, including the intersection, and as well as Shepherd, as part of the signalized intersection. So we included that as our study area intersection. As you know, the adjacent signalized intersection, it's Sandpit Road, officially Sandpit Road, Germantown Road, and Shepherd Road, and obviously the firehouse right there. So the signal operation does have provisions for fire preemption. So fire trucks hit a button and they go out, everyone else stops. So all right, that's a study area. We looked at the crash history. We found 9 crashes in the report you see there. 9 crashes, couple angles, couple rear ends, couple rear angles, rear end and side swipe. Nothing major there. It's signalized intersection. Thought I might see more. To be truthful, I thought there'd be more crashes there, but not many crashes there. No injury crashes. That's the important part. They're just PDLs, property damage only, we call that. So no issue there for the crash history. We did traffic counts back in December of last year, early December, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, obviously a holiday season. Did traffic counts. Those are in there as well. Develop our traffic volume figures. We looked at site distances. Vera's recommendation actually helps with the site distance that we have in one of the driveways, so that's all good. So then we did trip generation, and Tom kind of talked to us a little bit in terms of trip generation for service station, gas stations. We know that there's a lot of pass-by traffic. Tom mentioned, you know, we've allocated for 60% of it for the gas station. We know it's even higher in some locations. But in our table 3, our trip generation summary, you see it there. We've accounted for about 75, 80 some odd trips as passed by. So new traffic on the road is very low. It's 48 vehicles in the morning peak hour, 43 in the afternoon peak hour. So that's a little more than 1 per minute. You know, maybe 2 per minute. You know, at some point. So what does that all mean? You know, some are going north, some are going south, some are going to Sandpit Road. And what results from that is our capacity analysis that we did at the intersection, using a signal plan, the timings in the signal plan that we have from the city. Look at the analysis, the existing conditions, and no build and build. And as Tom said, you know, from a capacity standpoint of the intersection, all the movements. I mean, we did a whole, you know, we did by each movement, westbound, eastbound, northbound. All those movements we looked at, and you don't see any change. And you're really not going to, unless the intersection's got is nearing saturation flow, which is not, and it's congested, which is not. You're not going to see any real changes to the intersection level service, and not just level service, but also delays. And we look at the VC ratio, the volume to capacity ratio. We look at the delays as well as level service, and you go through the whole table from AM and PM at the intersection, and both Shepherd as well as at Great Plains Road intersection. We saw no change in level of service between, even though they operated one controller, Sandpit Road in Germantown and Shepherd Road at Great Plain Road. We didn't see any change. So is it generating new traffic? Yes, it is. At the site drive, new traffic, but on the road itself, you know, it's 50 cars on the road, which is carrying several hundred. So we didn't see a change. We didn't see an impact. So in terms of the actual traffic impact study conclusions, the sight lines, we fixed the sight line with the drive changes. We're not generating a lot of traffic on the road itself. We're not seeing operational issues. We're not seeing crash issues, crash patterns out there. So that's why our conclusion of the traffic study basically says that there's no significant impact of traffic operation at the intersection. And that's kind of where I guess I'll end the presentation. Tom said that we don't see an issue with safety. This intersection can accommodate traffic being generated by this project. And I'll leave it at that, answer any questions. Thank you.
Joe, I guess as I look at the roadway there, my biggest concern is that this site obviously is not right on the intersection, like I guess what I used to call Jimmy's Market. I don't know what it is now. It's just off the intersection. And I guess my biggest concern would be traffic flowing from either Great Plain Road or Sandpit Road onto Germantown and intending to take a right into the site. And, you know, if one person, it's only one lane wide there, so if some guy stops to take a right in there, would it queue up traffic and gunk up that intersection? I'm just trying to foresee problems that might happen there.
Well, so Mr. Chair, so you're pointing out that if someone's coming here and Sandpit going left, and you can see the actual, this actually is pretty resolution. You can see the tire marks. So there is some area, if someone were to be pulling in here and pulling here, and then if they're stopping, I don't know why they'd stop. If the pumps are full, if it's backed up on site, I guess that's a possibility that could be happening. If this is a fast food place, it'd be a different story. But we don't have it. So I think you've got some room here in fact, I can actually measure it. You got some room here that where did my thing go here? I thought here I had a minute. There you go. All right. You've got from here, let's go here to here. You've got about 18 feet, looks like 19 feet. That's almost a DOT bypass lane that we call it on road. So I'm not that concerned about it. The generation isn't significant. You know, if we're talking a lot more, 100 cars an hour coming in there, then maybe. But making this one way in helps. We obviously are on the back side of the intersection over here, so that would be my concerns coming out as well. So I think again, if there's a higher generator, it might be an issue, but operationally, see this intersection operate, I think you've got enough room there. I think you got enough room there to allow for cars to pass by. If someone were to be stopped for some reason, someone's backing out of the spot, let's say, then you have enough room to get around that vehicle. I think if the fire marshal and the city engineer were concerned about it, the fire station's right there. It's right there. So if there was a concern about blockages, we would have got a comment about that, and we didn't get a comment on that. So I'm not saying that tells you, but from my professional opinion, I think you're okay. But again, if there's more generation, different use, then yeah, we look at doing something different there.
I would just add to that by saying that the car that was trying to pull in at that first driveway also has the option of continuing along and pulling in the second driveway.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mr. Chairman,
Please, Helen.
okay, along the same lines here, talking about, ingress, let's say, and then egress. But within the site itself, as you can see by the picture you have up here, that the cars are at the pumps there are facing east or facing north? I don't know. They're all facing the same way. And when they have to leave, like if they want to go the other way, to out the two-way, what's the traffic flow to make that work?
Dinah's has the site plan. I don't have a site plan in front of me. Dinah's has a site plan. I can share with Dinah's if you want.
Well, the first issue is that, Helen, these photos are taken when it was just an auto repair facility.
Yeah.
So those cars are not queuing up for the gas pumps because there aren't any. That's where they just park all the vehicles that are in there for service. If you go out,
this is last year.
But we are going to have gas pumps and people are going to come in that way. And I assume they'll turn right and go into a gas pump. And then what happens when they want to leave?
Well, they're in terms of they're going to basically go around and come out here. The flow is expected to be. Don, is you have a site plan? You want to pull the site plan? That's probably a better plan to look at. There you go.
Well, that's a lot of traffic going. Well, that's a lot of traffic going past those two doors to get out.
But the way it works is that if the gas station pumps are full, most people go by and don't wait. It's going to be self-regulating. That if this is highly successful, and you've got cars are not going to. For gas stations are convenience. You're driving by. It's not a destination necessarily. So if you're going by as you see the pumps are full, then you're going to keep going and come back again or go to another gas station.
But they don't have to be full. A car comes in the two-way.
And can't get out.
And it comes around and now is facing north, I think it is. Towards the one-way in.
Yeah.
And it gets gas, no waiting. Now, I think what happens is if they want to, I don't know what the instances would be for them to say, well, I can't go out that way. I have to go out the other way. So I'll go around. And I guess the only option you got is to go past those two front doors there to turn around. Is that so? Or?
So this is for the traffic This is for, we're showing, I'm looking at my numbers here. This is, I mean, again, we're talking about 48 trips in the morning peak hours. So it's gonna be split up between the two driveways. And also you've got them coming down Great Plains, coming down Sand Pit. So it's split up those different ways. So I think what you're saying here is that you're concerned that if someone's getting gas, someone's behind them, that how is it gonna back them onto the road? And I'm saying too, it's not gonna back them onto the road because you'll see that it's got cars there. Also, you'll learn the preferred direction may be coming from Sand Pit and Great Plains Road. That may be, you know,
Okay,
in
is there
terms
any-
of,
Joe, no, that's not really the question. I think the question is they're gonna be coming in the two-way on the south side, and they're gonna go get gas, and their car is gonna be facing north, right?
Yep.
So they can't go out the one way in. So how do they, if their car is facing north in the pump area, whether or not there's other cars in there or not, how do they get out?
they'll turn around. They'll go around a pump. If there's no one behind them, they'll back up and go out. It's like any other gas station that has curb cut control. You learn how these driveways are and what's convenient for you for using the gas station. So
if they pull through and then they're gonna have to
turn
somehow
around.
turn around and
Yeah.
then go back through the pump, if the pumps are full, is there enough to go around the pumps?
So
No, you can actually circle two ways. You can circle closer to the road because there's room enough for two cars there. Or you can circle in front of the doors. So you're not limited to just going in front of the doors. There's room, because I've been out there. And if you look at the street view, you'll see it more clearly. But you can go through there. And so those are two options no matter what. And that assumes that all the other pumps are full and you can't just cut through that way as well. So there are ways to negotiate your way through very easily.
But again, it's going to be self-regulating. You know, as a gas station user, you're going to go in there, and if you realize that that's kind of a challenge to go in there, you know, if it is, you're not going to go that way. You're going to go the other way, or you're going to go to a different gas station. So that's what comes down to with gas stations. It's self-regulating. You know, unless this gas station was out in the middle of nowhere, it's the only gas station on this side of the city. Is what's going to happen here. It's convenient. It's what's the most convenient for you. So I think you're going to see here, you're going to see more cars coming in, patrons coming in from the north driveway, coming in that way and going out the other way. That's what's going to be most convenient from Sand Pit Road and Great Plain Road, coming from the north and coming from the east. They're coming in this driveway, use the pumps, and they'll go left out to go back or go right onto Germantown Road, continuing their trip. So I think, you know, the concerns that it may plug up or maybe difficult to turn around. You can certainly do that, but again, I think what's going to happen here is that it's self-regulating. That's what we see for all gas stations that have these controlled access, like this one has now. You're going to have that, and the operator was okay with it as well. They have other gas stations that have similar constraints on their flow around their dispensers, and that's what happens.
And again, this used to be an operating gas station with that exact same canopy and the exact same pump locations.
Yeah, except I think there was an egress and on both sides there. If you were coming north on Germantown and you wanted to go in the north entrance, which is the ingress only, is that entrance going to be angled so it would make it hard to are you going to be able to make a left turn into that?
I don't believe so. I believe the design from the traffic engineer was to make that extremely difficult.
Yeah, his plan is his comments were to narrow it up and not allow left turns in there, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I understand the concerns, and again, it's being a gas station and convenience. That's how we know they operate as convenience. They really do. And I think if there is some people coming in there, I mean, I've been to a couple of gas stations and I get in there, I'm like, oh, I'm not going there again because it's not my route, or it's hard for me to get out of there, so I won't go there again. So that's how we see these gas stations operating. It's a matter of convenience. It's not unsafe, and it's not unsafe to turn around within the parking lot there or go back through. It's not unsafe. It's just a convenience is what it comes down to.
Hey, Joe, this is Arnie Finaldi talking. I remember years ago, I believe you were before us with something to do with Danbury Hospital, which incidentally is right up the road from this.
Yes.
You were to put together a sort of a simulation model, which was very helpful to us on that application. I mean, I don't want to, torture anybody, but would that be feasible for something like this application, which actually showed the flow?
We can, Chair, Mr. Chair, we can certainly do that. I don't think it's warranted, but we could do that. That's something that we do, we have done. We do it on more complex sites. We've done it with a couple of Starbucks and a pad site in a parking lot. We did in Manchester that the city was concerned about, the town was concerned about. So we did that. We got very down to the very, detail of the vehicles stored and circulating the parking lot. We can do that. I would just say that if the fire department and city engineer didn't have concerns, and we'll see what Vera has to say about this. He obviously already commented on the direction. I would say it's probably not warranted, but if that's what the commission wants, then we can certainly do that. I don't think it's necessary, but if that's what's needed to convey to address the concerns, we can do that.
Well, let's leave it like this. We'll wait to hear from Vera, his final report, and then I'll speak to the folks in planning and zoning. We'll make a decision on that. We'll leave it open for now.
Yeah, and we can also, Mr. Chair, we can also show examples of other gas stations that have this kind of layout. If that's something that's worthwhile. There's other examples that have, especially on state highways. The state DOT has a lot of curb cut management on their projects, and like to keep the key thing. I don't. Diana, did you look at this? Does this Vera's comment? Is that hurt the tanker truck coming in? I'm assuming it's okay. I mean, that's where we've seen in the past. We've seen many gas stations needing full access to driveways because of the tanker trucks. Bringing the tanker trucks in there, servicing the station. That's where we've seen that. A lot of times that drives it. It's not traffic circulation. It's really the tanker trucks coming in and leaving.
Yeah. So and we've looked at the site for tanker truck access. Not an issue with that drive as it is, or having it restricted. Although we might want to talk to Vera also. Maybe we make this make the North Drive a right turnout only. Granted, it would be a tight turn to make, but perhaps that would be a good compromise, allowing the northbound dispenser visitors to exit out the North Drive. But anyway, that's something we can talk with Vera and finalize for the next hearing.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, Helen.
Mr. Chairman?
I can't
It's
see.
me, it's Jen.
You can take the site plan now so we can see everybody. Go ahead, Jen.
Actually, well, I was gonna say leave the plan up, but it's okay.
I can put it back up.
I think what would be helpful, I mean, we're already asking for a traffic circulation plan. I think, and that's mostly for the tanker truck. And again, you're also taking deliveries for the convenience store. So it's not just the tanker truck. So I think what would be helpful is if we actually saw on the plan, the cars queuing up at the pumps, and what happens when one car comes in at that first pump. How many cars does it take to block the intersection? I'm sorry, block the driveway. I think that would be helpful, and to actually show how the circulation is going to work, and showing the cars on there and the arrows.
That can be shown. But again, I'll say that I don't know how many gas stations that we've all driven by, and you see cars backed up in the pumps, that people are waiting on the road to get in there, or waiting on the site to get in there. It's rare that's happened. I mean, it's like pharmacy drive-throughs. When they first came out, oh my God, they're going to be 25 cars long. It doesn't happen. So that's all I'd say is that it is self-regulating, but we can certainly show that.
Well,
John-
I would beg to differ. A Saturday at BJ's where people are blocking the intersections, going,
BJ's.
and that's a one-way directional where you can't move because it's gridlock, because one person decides not to be smart and move to the next pump.
It's a poorly designed plan.
Well, again,
I
we're
don't have it
looking
front.
for a well-designed plan that prevents queuing onto Germantown Road and at the intersection. So again, I don't care what happens in other towns. I care about what's happening at this gas station.
Okay, good, thanks, Jen. Commission members, again, we're gonna keep this public hearing open. We've got more to talk about with traffic. Anything else for Joe Balskis at this time? All right, Attorney Beecher, it's your show.
That's all we have for tonight, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. We have some outstanding items to provide to the commission for the next meeting. So that's really it for tonight.
Thank you, Attorney Beecher. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Anyone in opposition? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Okay, good discussion. We've got some things we're going to follow up on at the next meeting in the area of traffic and some others. So, commission members, unless there's anything else, I'll entertain a motion to continue.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Sylvain, thank you. Okay, motion made and seconded to continue this public hearing until our next meeting, which again is April 19th, 2023. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? I'm sorry. Oh, good. All right, good. So we'll talk to you, the applicant, at our next meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving ahead on our agenda, commission members, we have nothing under continuation of public hearings, so we're going to go right to old business for discussion and possible action. We're going to revisit our first public hearing this evening, Bright Raven IS LLC property owner application for special exception revised site plan for wireless communication facilities, section 3E6B2, on existing rooftop with existing antennas by others, Dish Wireless LLC installation rooftop in the CA80 zone, 18 Old Ridgeberry Road, C15008, special exception number 793. The public hearing was opened and closed this evening, which is March 27th, 2023. Anyone want to offer an opinion or guidance to the staff on this matter? Want to comment on it? Anyone?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a couple of comments. I don't really have any issue with this. It's, they're replacing some of the antennas. There's existing, 3 other carriers have existing equipment up there. So it's not going to be any taller, any much different there. So I don't, there's really not much change there. So I don't have any issue.
Thanks, Bob.
Mr. Chairman, I would agree with Bob, and I guess in terms of RF direction and such, I would just hope if there was any issues, they would, would be taken care of in terms of, testing and actual implementation. So I'm fine with it.
Thanks, Helen. Kevin or Perry, anything to add, or are you okay?
I'm all right.
Good. Yeah, I mean, now that I live in Rivington and I have to drive down that ramp to go to downtown Danbury, I look at this hotel and I wonder what the heck is ever going to become of it. But there are a series of antennas on the roof, and again, not the most beautiful thing in the whole world to look at, but this situation doesn't seem to make it any worse. So I have no objection to it.
I think the hotel is going to change very soon.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll find out.
Lots of rumors.
Okay. How come I don't hear any of these rumors? No one tells me anything. Okay. All right, so you got your guidance, Jen?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Looking at our agenda, that's it for old business. We have no referrals. There's a couple of new business items that are coming up that we will discuss on April 19th. Nothing under correspondence. And other matters for discussion and possible action. Is this anything we have to talk about tonight, Jen?
Yes, please. We've got
Okay.
two requests for extensions.
Got it. Okay. Other matters for discussion and possible action. Item 1, request for 5-year extension of site plan approval for Kilco LLC, 10 Old Sherman Turnpike, M12015 and M12016. Special exception number 764. Approval was granted August 1st, 2018. And a letter requesting the extension was distributed. Is there anything you want to talk about, Jen?
Not really. It's pretty straightforward. The commission approved it 2018. Their 5 years is up. They're It's my understanding they're starting to do some work out there. I think they're requesting a sewer extension. So I think there's some movement in the development of that site. But they, they've asked for the additional 5, and by statute, they're allowed. So
Any
staff has no problem.
Any questions for Jen? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the extension.
I'll make that motion to approve the extension.
Motion made by Mr. Castillo, seconded by Mr. Sylvain. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the 5-year extension is granted. Item 2, request for 1-year extension on Pondview Estates, Corner Pond Court, subdivision number 1401. Subdivision approval granted April 2nd, 2014. 4 1-year extensions have been granted. There's a letter from attorney Neil Marcus. Jen, anything on this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, very quickly. If you recall, again, as said in the agenda, the commission has granted 4 1-year extensions. We had hoped to receive all the paperwork to accept the road. There's been a couple little hiccups along the way. The property owner has assured us that, and his attorney has assured us that those few last pieces will be forthcoming. They've actually granted a renewal letter of credit. So we have that letter of credit extended through next year, as well as if the commission grants the extension tonight, that would bring them to the 5 full years they're entitled to, which would bring them to 2024. So again, we've got the replacement letter of credit. This is the next step. It gives them the extra time to get those last few pieces into Corporation Council for the acceptance of the road.
Okay. Thanks, Jen. Commission members, any questions for Jen on this one? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to, I'll entertain a motion to grant the 1-year extension.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made and seconded by Mr. Sylvain. Motion made and seconded to grant the 1-year extension for Pondview Estates. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, the 1-year extension is granted. Again, a couple of things for reference only, stuff that's coming up. And other than that, I think we're done. What time is it? 38, not bad. Okay, commission members, unless there's anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion seconded by Sylvain. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Have a good
Good
night.
work.
Thank you. Good night.